Let's move on to topic number 2 tonight. And the coaches got to get the vaccine. The coaches got to get the shot. We're talking about mandatory vaccines in the NFL for coaches and all tier 1 personnel in the NFL. So anybody that comes in close contact with the team or with player personnel or with coaches has to be vaccinated in the NFL to basically keep your job or stay on the team or stay in the organization. What do you got on this, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen a couple of coaches, an assistant coach from the Vikings. We saw here locally one of the assistant offensive line coach for the Patriots. Either, there's some discrepancies whether the coach voluntarily left or if they told the coach, you're either going to get the shot or you're leaving. So, I'm sure there's going to be different stories about what happened with each of those coaches, and I'm sure those stories are different. I'm sure there's other coaches that are in the same situation. On top of the fact that this is a public health crisis, look at what happened last year with all the different players that got COVID, and then it messed up the week or even the season. Look at the Patriots. Patriots are playing pretty well. Then Cam Newton goes out because he's got COVID, and then they're playing the Chiefs. They go to the Chiefs. They almost beat them even without Cam Newton, but then Brian Hoyer throws a terrible pick in the end zone. I don't want to get into that game right now, but, COVID kind of, even though the NFL was able to get through a season, they had a Super Bowl, everything went actually pretty well in the postseason. But it threw a monkey wrench into everything, So if you're a coach, just get the vaccine, and then you just don't have to even worry about it. Because one of the things too is that even if you get COVID when you have the vaccine in the NFL, I think you only have to sit out like a couple of days, and then they can test you again or something like that. Because I know Devin Asiasi of the Patriots just got it, but he's vaccinated, so I don't think he's going to be out a full week. I think it's only a couple of days.
2 negative tests.
2 negative tests, right? So you don't have to be up to 10 or 14 days that used to be the case when you weren't vaccinated. So just make it easy on yourself, make it easy on the team. And second of all, I'm sure you saw Ron Rivera coming out being like, I just had cancer, so why can't? And he's mad that his team has the lowest vaccination rate of any team in the NFL. The Washington football team has the lowest vaccination rate in the NFL, and their head coach just recovered from cancer. And he's like, listen, I'm compromised here, and I got the vaccine. Why can't you guys just do the same thing, and then we don't have to worry about anything? So it just seems so easy. It's the vaccines being distributed at a lot of these stadiums. Gillette Stadium here in Massachusetts has been one of the most successful vaccine sites in the state. So if you work at Gillette Stadium, just go downstairs and get the vaccine. It's so easy to do now. I don't see why you can't just get it done, especially when the rest of the team has done it. It's not a big conspiracy. I don't understand it. So there you have it.
I completely support this move by the NFL, man. Get vaccinated. Get yourself vaccinated. Let's get out of this pandemic and put this all behind us so we can really go back to normal. Because obviously with these variants popping up and possibly more variants popping up with people being unvaccinated, we're going to be in this and having to deal with this for much longer. So get vaccinated, people. We need to end this pandemic. And hey, man, Ron Rivera, by all accounts, is an amazing guy, an amazing coach, former coach of the year. Come on. If you're one of his players, once I heard that, I mean, I'm already vaccinated, but if I hadn't already heard that, I would have been in there if I was one of his players, because Ron Rivera is that great of a guy. I'd just be looking to support my coach and a friend at that point. But man, I'm all for it. Like I said, every time I've been seeing one of these coaches get dismissed, I'm like, you're really going to give up a great coaching job like that because you don't want to get a vaccine? Ah, man, that's ridiculous. And some people are saying, well, it doesn't have full FDA approval yet. Well, guess what? News on the headlines today is by early September, it is going to have full FDA approval. So what is your argument with that now? We're only a few weeks away from that. So you're just going to want to wait until the beginning of the season? Guess what? The NFL said no. You get it now or you get dismissed. And I love it. I personally love it. Another thing that they said this week was, if they have to forfeit a game, if a team has to forfeit a game because of high COVID tests and positive tests, that it will just be a flat out forfeit and there will be no game checks. And that hit right home for the players. The next week on all the teams were reporting vaccines were up 60%. That's because guys, and now you're talking about hitting their paycheck. And remember, on most of these NFL contracts, it's pretty much geared paycheck to paycheck, game to game. So in the offseason, you're not continuing to get these huge paychecks, okay? And that's been always one of the arguments that the NFL players have been trying to argue for. So game checks matter. Game checks matter big time. And so I think the NFL was sending a huge message there, message sent and message well received. Obviously, vaccines went up, but I'm just shocked that, like I said, some of these coaches being willing to give up these great, amazing jobs because you're unvaccinated. What do you think? You're going to go down and be a Division I coach? Guarantee you go try to go to one of those schools, they're going to want you to be vaccinated. I had just applied to a Division I school in this offseason locally in here in New England. I won't say which school, but they had said if you accept the job, you have to have full vaccination report. You have to show it. You have to show it. So it's like you're not getting away from that right now. You need to get vaccinated. It's for the better of everyone. It's for the good of the whole public, man. So I'm just really shocked that there's anybody really putting up with it. And like, is this Cole Beasley on the left? Because he's one of the anti-vaxxers, I guess, Cole Beasley. Really shocked to hear that you're kind of that dumb, Cole Beasley, because I really thought you were a smarter guy than that, man. You really show really good football smarts on the field, especially getting open out of the slot. But now you're really talking about jeopardizing everyone's health just so you can continue to live your normal life. I mean, we have normal laws against that right now. And Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, just brought it up. And I was glad to hear finally a huge public official bring it up, being like, you can't drink and drive. So, and that's for the better of the public health. So guess what? Getting the vaccine is too. I'm glad to see that the NFL is making this mandatory.
Yeah, I mean, there's other professions too where if you're, a Doctors Without Borders employee, or you're one of those medical people who go overseas to certain countries, you get vaccinated before you go there because of what you deal with in that foreign country. Where it's a third world country or the medicine just isn't as good over there, you get vaccinated here so that when you go there, you don't then bring it back when you come back to the United States. And it happens, in Great Britain, they do the same thing, and then they go to another country. So, and other countries that are a little more well off do the same thing with Doctors Without Borders and other medical professions. So the NFL is sort of taking that stance, like, listen, because of our profession, what we do especially, we need to mandate this vaccine and make sure that people are getting it. And, Coach Ron Rivera would get a cancer treatment last year and then show up and coach on the same day. So if he's going to do that for you, why can't you just go get the vaccine? It's that simple. So I'm sure this is going to be a revolving story throughout the year. And, it's not just a part of football. It's obviously a part of everybody's life, our full society right now. So we'll see how that, unfolds going forward. Folks, if you like this show, you're watching it right now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That's Comeback Sports on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel, Comeback Sports. And then all the cut-ups that our awesome producer, Ben Kudo, puts together after the show, that'll all filter to your YouTube channel. You don't have to go search for it. It's just right there in your subscriptions.